What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of History and Writing with local author Gennaro Lombardi here, aka your boy Gio, author of 5 books, 4 self-published, 1 officially published. Everybody knows the Road Rage book, the officially published one, and I have a few others. I actually have all 4 of my other books here today, and I'm coming on here to do 2 things as usual, which is 2 things is book promotions, and the other one is a topic and self-help video of the day. And but today we're going to skip the book promotions, or I'll do it towards the end, and we're going to actually have a word from our sponsor. Today I'm wearing a shirt from our sponsor, and then we're going to go to topic of video, self-help video, which is top 5 ways how to avoid getting out of a ticket if you do get pulled over, because the video before this a few days ago was top 5 or 6 ways how to avoid getting pulled over. So if you do get pulled over, you need to know this and watch this video so you can get out of the ticket. And here's our sponsor. Today's episode of History and Writing is brought to you by today's sponsor, Vito Sandwich and Specialty Shop down in Ortley Beach, right next to Seaside Heights. It's on Route 35 if you're leaving out of Seaside. So I think it's 35. Yeah, it's north. I'm almost positive it's on north. So it's hashtag is Ortley Beach Sandwich, SANGWEECH, because that's how we say it up north. And it's in sandwich, it's sandwich. That's how the old school Italian guys say it. And what we got on the back is his phone number. It's 732-854-8486. So go see my boy Vito over there. If you like old school Italian subs that are a foot long and more, and I got the gabagool on there, the mortadella, fresh mozzarella, a little balsamic. He's going to make it nice for you. And what you do is you eat outside on the patio there. You walk down to the beach and go enjoy the view. And that's it. All right, so on to today's topic. Like I said, today is the top 5 or 6 ways on how to avoid getting pulled over. So I'm going to start right from the beginning. And as soon as the lights turn on, you're driving down the road, you're flying, you're speeding, and you look in the rearview mirror, you see cop lights behind you. The first thing you should do, tip number 1, would be to pull over to a safe place, turn off the car, and roll down the windows. And the reason why I say this is because if you pull over to a stressful area where there's high traffic and the cop's life is in danger, he's going to think, not that you're not thinking about him, but just he's going to be more stressed out and try to get out of there as soon as possible. And he's not in a comfortable situation, so to get out of there as soon as possible may mean giving you a ticket and then getting out of there as soon as possible. So I've pulled into stores, I pull off on the side if I can, you know, whatever the case may be. If you can pull over and get into a parking lot somewhere off the side of the highway, do that. Turn off the car, because he's worried about you driving off. So he doesn't want to come up to you and waste time to ask you to turn off your car. You should already know this shit by now. So that's part 2 of this. And the other one is roll down the windows. So that, again, the cop feels safer, because the last thing he wants to do is roll up and worry about who's in the car, if they're going to pull something on him and do this and that. So already, if you do those 3 things and the cop walks up and he sees this as a sign of you're thinking of him, sign of respect, and you have nothing to hide, and that's probably going to help you get out of that ticket, and mark my words on that. Tip number 2 is have your paperwork on hand and up to date, right? There's 2 things we need when we're driving besides inspection, which some cars don't need inspection. I have a car that's older than 25 years old, so I don't need inspection, right? So I have gotten pulled over for that because I don't have it on my windshield, and the cop's like, oh, you don't have inspection because the car looks kind of newer. It's a 1994. So there's that. Have your paperwork on hand and up to date, because the last thing you want to do is when a cop pulls you over is you want to be looking around the car for where's your paperwork, or where's your license, or where's this, or where's that, because when you do that, the cop's worried about you grabbing something on him or taking something out or whatever. So you should have your license on hand. It should be in your pocket. Mine always is. And your registration and insurance should be in your glove compartment or your little console right to your side. And you should have it on your lap when he's walking up. You should already have it ready. You should not be looking for anything, and it should be up to date. That's hard for some people to do. I know we kind of forget, but that's why I put myself on automatic pay for car insurance. I pay for the 6 months, and then it takes it again out automatically in the next 6 months. So I don't even have to worry for a whole year. and my license just got renewed, and that's it. That's it for tip number 2. Number 3 is a good one, right? Because what I say is admit guilt, but don't admit fault, okay? So the first thing a cop is going to do when he pulls you over is he's going to ask you that famous question like you're on Family Feud or some shit, or like a game show, and if you get the answer right, maybe you'll get out of the ticket. And he always asks you, so do you know why I pulled you over, right? And I say it like this, it's just like, yeah, I was driving a little fast. I'm not going to say, listen, I was doing 72 and a 55. And I say, yeah, listen, I know I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. I admitted fault, but I didn't admit guilt, right? I didn't exactly specify. So he actually can't hold me to it, right? So it's kind of a little catchy. I understand that. But it inevitably comes down to this. If you tell the cop I didn't do anything, you're going to get a ticket. If you're like, yeah, I didn't do that, or I didn't do this, and he pulled you over and he saw you do it, and you sit there and say, yeah, yeah, no, I didn't do it, you're getting a ticket. Trust me on that. So that's pretty much about as clear as that tip can be. Just say, listen, I'm sorry, I did something stupid. He knows, man, he deals with this shit 100 times a day. He pulls people over, and if you act like he's stupid, he didn't see what he saw, you're going to get the ticket. So tip number 4 is a real good one, and I'm sure you've all seen this on the internet a million times as we watch these funny videos of people just getting beat up by cops who actually deserve it, in my honest opinion, right? So, oh, police brutality, yeah, you asked for it pretty much, and it's number 4 is don't give the cops a hard time, right? Because I got my ass kicked by cops a lot of times in my life, and I pretty much asked for it. It's for the way I acted and the shit that we do, and these people, they think they're lawyers, and when they get pulled over, and the famous thing that they always say is when they get pulled over is there's 2 things that people forget, right? It's like, am I being detained, right? So they're like, well, when you get pulled over, yes, you are detained. You cannot leave that spot until the cop allows you to leave, period, right? And the other one is that driving is not a privilege. It's not a right. It's a privilege. We're giving a privilege to things. So the cops have a right to pull. They have the right to pull us over. Period. And if you give them the hard time, you don't roll the window down. I don't have to give you my information. I don't have to do this. And I'm calling my lawyer. And you sit there and you give him a hard time. You know what's going to happen? He's going to break the window. He's going to roll you out of the car like we've seen in all these other videos. Or they're going to do what they did to me. They're going to impound my car. They're going to give me 2 tickets on the spot. They're going to give me 2 more in the mail, which they did. And they impounded my car. And when I went to the impound lot to get my car, I paid to get out. When I was driving home, they pulled me over and gave me another ticket. Okay? So don't fight with the law. Don't give them a hard time. You're not a lawyer. Just do what you're told, bro. Like, it's real easy, right? You just give them your paperwork and you go home. That's really it. And if you do get a ticket, you get to fight it or whatever it is. But we're going to go over that in the next part. So don't give the cops a hard time, and it's only to your benefit. Tip number 5 is, and I'm going to keep this as short as you should, which is when the cops ask you a question when you are pulled over, answer it in single syllables. Where are you going? Home. Where did you come from? My girl's house. What were you doing there? Just sleeping. That's it. What were you doing? Just don't go on with the conversation because they don't want to hear it. And the longer you talk and the more information they give you, the more they're going to try to question where you were doing, where you were come from. Don't ever say you were coming from the bar. And if you were coming from a bar, say I'm just picking somebody up and I'm dropping them off. And that's it. You try to answer, and if they ask you something, yes sir, no sir. Do you have your license? Yes sir. Do you have this? No sir. That's it. Stop the talking because it's only gonna drag this harsh and grueling process on longer and longer, and you want to get out of there as quickly as possible. So that's it. I've got 2 more. Usually I do top 5 ways, but I got like 2 more here, just quick ones to try to help you out to keep those tickets away from you. Tip number 6 would be have a PBA card, which stands for the Police Benevolent I believe, association, right? So it's a PBA card. If you have a family member, if you donate, you could actually get one. Friends, family, and stuff like that. So if you do something small, which just have a light out or turn on red, and you have a PBA card, you're probably going to get out of it. If you do something completely stupid, 100 miles per hour in the 55 zone, PBA cars aren't going to save you. Cops, and especially if that cop you're in another state or another district, another county, it's not going to work. It only works usually where you're located in your semi-area, if the cops know each other. So if you have one of those, it's very beneficial. That's it. Checking out another episode of History in the Writing with your boy Gio here, Gennaro Lombardi. Again, from our sponsor, Vito's Sandwich Shop down in Orly Beach on 35. Make sure to go check them out, pick up a good sub. And I will be down there hopefully in a few weeks doing one of my book signings. And this is for my first officially published book, which is called Italian Lessons 101. This came out in 2017. This was my first book, and it was self-published, I'm sorry. And I did it through lulu.com. And it's a short synopsis of my life growing up in a crazy Italian household, and then 101 motivational quotes by Italians. So that's it, something you learn from Godfather, Goodfellas, something Pavarotti said, something Da Vinci said. And that's my actual truck on the front, which was had a big Italian flag on the back. People used to take pictures of it all the time. So thanks again. I hope you got something out of this video and it gets you out of a ticket. And that's it. Tuning out. Drive safe. See you soon.